Last year, Minister, you raised tuition fees by 7%, but you allowed universities to raise fees even further through the back door. For example, although you allowed universities a $135 increase in fees, Western University added $200 to that, and the University of Toronto added $185, and they did this by jacking up their ancillary fees.
I've got a message for all the scumbags, losers, killers, and haters of this world. Evil must be punished. Back doors, huh? Well, I reckon Mr. McGinty would know all about back doors. It's really interesting, this Mr. McGinty, because normally I really haven't paid a whole lot of attention to Canada's government. Of course, the North American Union kind of throws a wrench in that whole thing, because now I really pretty much have to pay attention whether I want to or not. The interesting thing about it is that they don't call it the North American Union up in Canada. They call it the SPP, Securities and Prosperities Program, which is the North American Union, same thing. In fact, Canada has been talking about the North American Union far longer than we have. And no, Canada does not consider it a conspiracy theory at all. In fact, Canada was the first ones to raise an alarm bell about this whole thing.
My question, why are you allowing Ontario universities to raise tuition fees through the back door, pass on their social contract cuts to students, and breach your own ministry's guidelines?
The progressive conservatives ultimately played into this strategy by running a series of negative advertisements against McGinty throughout the campaign. However, they also undercut their own strategy by accidentally distributing a press release which described McGinty as an evil reptilian kitten eater from another planet. Let me say that phrase again. Evil reptilian kitten eater from another planet. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of joking going on there. You might not take such a statement seriously. But the interesting thing about it for me, folks, is that I have never, ever heard anyone in politics use the phrase reptilian. Never. And then to add from another planet on top of that? Never heard of that before, man. In fact, aside from Sitchins, Icky, or Ike, however you wish to pronounce it, we call it Icky here. You guys over in Europe call it Ike. It doesn't matter. Not to me. Sitchins, Icky, myself, and maybe one or two other people, the term reptilian isn't used. And it certainly isn't used broadcast all over the nation. So what's going on? Was that just a Freudian slip, perhaps? Did the Conservative Party say more than maybe they should have said? Now remember, folks, this went out all over the nation, okay? This wasn't just some fluke at some speech rally or something. No, this went out all over the nation.
I thought that I should talk a little bit about how far we have come together.
Seems there is $8 billion in federal funding meant for refugees. Refugees is a pleasant way of saying illegal Mexicans coming across the Canadian border without your consent, I might add. Now, the interesting thing about the $8 billion is that, first of all, it's $8 billion with a B, okay? Not million, billion. That's number one. Number two is they don't know where the money went. See, only a very small amount, it's found out, actually went towards these refugees, i.e. illegal Mexicans coming across the Canadian border. And nobody seems to know where the majority of the money went. Where did it go? Well, we don't know. And I can give you a link to that too